everybody. It's another exciting time to be with you again on Rings That Bind. We are always thrilled, the team and I, as we look forward to having a guest tell us their love story, share with us their experience as they've been in marriage and what we can learn from them. This show is brought to you regularly by Bridge Afrique Home of Bliss Incorporated and Panaceaville International. I'm Nancy Oblete. I'm a marriage coach and a behavioral change expert. I host this show regularly. Thank you for joining us today. So today on the show, we have another guest who will be sharing with us their story and inspiring us through the experience that they've had so far in their marriage. Join me, welcome Reverend and Mrs. John Akoh to Rings That Bind. Welcome, sir and ma.
Thank you very much for having us. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you so much for obliging us with your presence today. We are excited to have you. And the couple they've been married for 5 years. They are blessed with 3 children. Today they'll be sharing with us some of their experiences, what has happened, how they have gone through, what they keep doing, what their secret is and all. But on this show, before we even start at all, we want to get to meet them. We want to get to know you, sir. We want to get to know you, ma. So can you please just introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about you, what you do and all.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Reverend John Akoh, and I'm the pastor of God's Love Auditorium Church. So automatically that makes me a preacher and also someone that not just preach to people but counsel people, guide them along the path of life, both in physical success and spiritual success. And equally, I run some companies that I do as an offshoot of supporting the ministry. I am the CEO of the J Media Concept. It's also a media outlet that seeks to promote young talents and young artists within the Christendom. So that is equally a wonderful one. And also, I sing songs of inspiration. I am gifted with songs of inspirations, and some of my records are already out there. And I am also a peace worker. I am committed to preaching peace as per vision that God has given, to say that in life, everybody are owned by God. No human being created another person. So the idea of taking the life of anybody because of religion or because of one form of zeal or even property, mineral resources and all that doesn't occur. Because in the first place, nobody owns any of the resources on board. So why fighting over what you do not even own? And again, we're all going to leave it and walk away from this earth. So why killing something that you know is not going to be eternal? It's not going to be forever. And also in the aspect of religion, we equally understand that God does not have a religion. Religion only belongs to us here on earth. If God has a religion, then who does God worship? There's no one at all. So, but then because everybody worship him, everybody prays to him, both Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and all, we all pray to him alone. And so the idea of killing someone for the zeal of a religion doesn't occur, because the more you think you are doing that, you are actually harming God, and you are harming humanity and harming God equally. And because of that, also I was able to write up a book titled "Stop This War," which is supposed to also go for everyone in the society to be able to read. It's something that we are working towards launching now across Nigeria and across Africa, so that people can be able to read it and have a change of mentality as to what leads to crisis and killing of people. And we will be happy to partner with this platform to make sure that that comes to a limelight. That's a little brief about me. And of course, I'm married, and this is my lovely wife, Mrs. Eunice. She's quite been a helpmate and a lovely supporter. And of course, we have 2 children, Jesse and Jeffrey, the big boys in the house. Thank you very much.
Yes. Wow, that's interesting. I'm already excited about the things that you are doing and how the community at large is benefiting and will continue to benefit from the things you do. Ma'am, you want to say anything before we get rolling?
Well, not too much. He has said most of it. I'm just for everything he does. I'm just a supporter. And I'm a teacher too. That's all.
Okay, wow, fantastic. We need more teachers because we have upcoming people who we hope will take over from us. And so teaching is an amazing thing to do. Thank you so much for all that you do. Okay, so let's shoot. Now we have a tradition here. Every time we have a guest that comes on the show, the first question we ask is, how did you meet? What's the love story? What attracted you to each other? How did you decide to get married and to settle down? Just the gist around it. So we want to hear yours too.
Okay.
All right, she go first, right?
Anyone is fine.
So I was saying we actually had each other's contacts on our phones without being aware of it. He had mine saved in my name, and I had his saved as well, but not in his name. His name was saved as Michael on my phone. So I don't know how that came to be. I don't even know when I saved that contact. So we got talking one day via WhatsApp, and he he sent a message to me. Then I replied, and that was how it started. So it was quite fun because he was a very funny person. We got to see each other, and it continued from there. So you
Mm.
can go ahead.
All right, thank you. Actually, that's just a brief of what she said.
Yes.
Should I say miraculously or mysteriously or howeverously, we I just saw her name on my phone, and then I don't even know how. I want to believe it is sometimes you buy a SIM card that from network, and then the network, maybe somebody has used that SIM card before.
Oh,
The
wow.
SIM card was now maybe lost and then sold, and I bought that SIM card, and somehow I just saw her number on my SIM card, and so
Wow.
there was this message I normally send to people as a pastor, message of inspirations and all that. So I sent to everybody on my contact, and then she responded. Many people responded, but she responded in one way that called for me talking more. And so by the time I get to try to explain more about the scriptures to her, and that was how we started meeting. And one day she said, is it possible? Does she know me? How do I get a number? I say myself, I'm asking you the same thing. How do you get my number on your phone? And so we decided to, okay, let us meet one day. Let's know these faces one by one, one on one, sorry. And then we met. And so from that moment when we met, she was very shy. In fact, she could not look at me in the face. So she couldn't look at me in the face. And I was like, what kind of shy person is this? Since she let me dig deeper to know who she is. And that's how we met. And I took her to an eatery where I said she should eat anything she can eat. And she, in fact, she, not me. While I was eating anything I can eat.
Can you imagine someone that took me out? She was literally eating everything.
She was just busy, just being shy, or that thing that now that comes first with women when they first meet the guy. So she was busy, she was very shy, she couldn't eat anything. It's okay, she can only take soft drinks. Even while she was taking the soft drink, she was not comfortable. Her palms, everybody was sweating because she has not met someone like me before.
Oh my goodness!
Exactly. So like that, and so they that's how the rolling started. And before you know it, just from gisting, from trying to counsel her, we became friends. From being friends, it just continued to multiply, deep and deeper every day. And it came to that point that I have to start praying for who God want to make me spend my life with. If you're the person that's going to support the ministry, so because I've had a lot of dangerous things about ministers' wives and how some wives do not support their husband in whatever they are doing, and the man fell. Because it's a normal situation in life that behind every successful man is a woman. So needs to be very careful in the choice of a partner. And so it got me, I was, that's not really caught over because I have some other friends who that we're going to end up together. But here comes this one. who really is something else. You know, her qualities, her portfolios, her kind of nomenclature was quite different from the nominalities I used to see or being around with. Most of those ones who will tell you, let's go hang out, let's go do this, do that. For this one, she was very shy. Tell her to go out. She would like, my God, how can I go out? What do you do? Okay. So I used to like, what kind of person is this? She's a very, very shy person, you know. And then so it got me praying. And actually from praying, I very clear revelation about how she's what she is, she's written. So you know, got in, and then of course, you know, as usual now, I throw in the hook and then cut her from. So yeah.
Wow, interesting. What are the odds that you find a number you didn't save on your phone? This is one of those things that we say there's no coincidence in life, right? Things just fall into place as they are supposed to, as God wills them. Amazing story. Yeah, so when you decided to get married, for you, ma'am, was it a hard decision to agree to marry him?
No, it wasn't really hard.
I think the question is,
okay, baby talk.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Actually, it was how I was asking. I said, was it a hard decision to agree to marry him?
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all.
Yeah. Okay, so when you decided to get married, what was your family's view, perspective? Did they have objections? Did they not? Did they fall in love with him or you immediately? What was it like?
Okay, well, they with me. For one, so much likes him, like her son, and my dad don't have a problem with it, so long as he can take care of her daughter. And but for his mom, she also likes me like a young girl, but she felt the first time we met, she felt a way younger than him, and that's this and this and this and what she wanted. But when she got to meet that, like we met in several occasions, so she got to find out that it's not about age, it's about who the person is. So
yeah, actually I do more of the visitation to her. So her mom, her entire family get to like me.
Yes.
They were very happy. In fact, most times when I come around, they don't even want me to leave. And then, but for my mom, my parents, in fact, seeing her for the first time, my mom felt like, because of the economy, I was supposed to marry someone who is working in the bank, someone who is very industrious, who has money, who is wealthy. Because I, for one, wasn't rich. We were just there. In fact, as at that time, one thing that made her much more something else was that I was squatting when we met. I don't have a house. I don't even have a room to live. I was squatting under my family's roof, even as a pastor. So, and then when we met, she was never like taken aback by what does he have? How can he be squatting? You know, stuff like that. She was just who she is. And so my mom was feeling like every other African mother, like my child need to marry somebody who is rich because we're poor. You know, like that. Somebody, yes. So my mom was really, really aggressive. She was quarreling. What does she have to offer? She has nothing. What's her qualification in school? She's an NCE. Out there, she's too small. How can you go to the bank? You see bankers who are there, who have money, have cars, looking for a husband. Go and marry those ones. And that one, they can give you a leverage, even in your ministry and all that. I told my mom, said, Mom, if I see what is for me, I should be able to identify at this point. So for me, I don't want somebody who has money. I don't want somebody who has car. I don't want anybody who is rich. I want somebody who understands me. I want somebody who knows me for who I am, who can tolerate the situation I'm in now with me. Because life's journey is never straight. You cannot force it to bend, and you can't force it to be straight. It's all about just the faith, you know, in moving ahead. So I think that about it. Subsequently, when she began to see her around, then my mom understand the fact that our son cannot be, and that was when she accepted our hands. And until now, my mom has referred to her as the best daughter of the entire kingdom that we have. So yes, so she's seen the real she now. and now we are so full. My whole family, you know, they virtually like take her like a little goddess in the house.
Wow, that's amazing. So during this time when his mom was like saying no to this whole thing, how were you feeling? What was it for you at that point, being the one who was seemingly being rejected? What was it for you like?
Okay, at first, I was praying, though it got to a point that it was looking like I was walking on eggshells. But after praying, I began to like believe God completely and said, if truly this is where you want me to be, then you make a way for me. So I decided to be myself. Whenever I'm with her as his mom, I don't, things I know I won't do in a marriage, I don't do it. So I should not be feeling, so I was just myself. I dress extremely simple. When I get there, I eat when I want to. I do things not because I was trying to win her heart. And that made her so much liked me. Yes.
You know, there was a point we had some serious challenge. That challenge was that that was where I called the crossroad in marriage. And of course, most people could, you know, fit us there. What was the crossroad? Because like I said before, I had some other girls, you know, so we are not really anything, but they are looking at me and I'm also looking at them. And like, can we end up together? So it came to that point that I was now comparing them, you know, with her. I was always thinking like, okay, which one is more posh? Which one is more, you know, more tech, more elegant, more classic? You know, ministers like good things too much. Which one will I go out with and I will feel very comfortable? So this old thought, you know, kept me at one point that it brought me to a really point or a very serious point of decision making. And at that point, because those other girls were just calling my life, they were like, want to come and visit you, want to come and spend weekend with you. Come, you know, they will even send me a recharge card. They will even try to fund a little thing I try to do. So I was like, I was caught in between. I was really caught in between. And because of that, there was even a time that for more than 6 months, my wife were not even in good time. In fact, I've told her I'm not being again.
I was, after introduction.
Yeah, that was even after our official introduction.
Yes.
I told her I'm not. Yes.
Yes.
I'm telling you. I told her, yes, I told her I'm no longer interested. I'm not doing again. And so it became a very big problem with my family. Like that, we have already accepted this person. There's nothing you can do. This is going to be your wife. We've come to love her. She has done nothing to. In fact, they asked me for various reasons, you know, to find one. I really don't have anyone to give because I was just being childish. So at the end of it all, I just went back to my God and continued to pray. And then until I had that clear vision from God and said, this is your wife. Make no mistake about it. So that was how I was able to resolve it. And how do I even resolve it? I got my phone and called. Good enough, she picked. Today, I want to eat food. And food was provided by her. And if she did not give me this food, I will die. I'm telling you. I said if she don't give me the food, I'm going to die. Like, what's going to kill me? I said, the only food that I is from my little presentation. So when I closed, I called her. Then she was working one small job, and then we met in an eatery. And so when we met, she asked me what I want to eat, and I told her. She said, okay, she should give me the money to go and get the food. I said, no, she has to go get the food and come serve me. And she was quiet about it. She did not nag. She went and did the same thing. Got the food, served me. And she wanted to go ahead her hand, and I said she's not going until she sit down and watch me eat. And she's not going to eat, but she has to watch me eat.
I watched you eat. That plate.
What's crazy? Like crazy.
That's what I did.
like he was torturing me.
So I made her sad that she was watching me eating. And so even if I was not going to finish the food, I said I can finish this food and she must be there. So she watched me finish eating the food. Then I said, okay, now I'm okay. She made to go was when I told her that I think we should resolve our difference now. Maybe I'm sorry for everything. I'm back, so let's try it. Enough, she just laughed. She shed tears of joy. I mean, tears of whatever, I don't know, because she said I put her through a lot of trauma and sorrow at that point. I'm a big guy, so I was like, big boy thing. The fact that yeah, truly that's what happened. And before you know it, we got back, and they both families became happy. My family became very happy when I told them we are back, and even my colleagues in the office were very happy. Even since I became very happy, her family became very, very happy, and I think there was joy in heaven, yeah, that we came back, and that's it. So it was from there that the journey started to where we.
Wow, this is interesting. Now, I like something that you said, ma'am, and I think it's a very vital thing for ladies, especially. During that period when we are being introduced to each other's family, we are kind of at the edge because we don't know whether we'll be accepted or not, especially in Africa, where families play a very significant role in our lives as people and how we choose who we marry. So that temptation to bend, that temptation to try to fit in, to try to please the other person. Sometimes at the end of the day, we so many mistakes during that time, and it becomes challenging to correct it after we get married. So the fact that you said you were yourself, once you got off the initial shock, you were yourself. You decided to do the things that able to do even in the marriage. Sorry, you said?
Yeah, I was myself actually. It got to the point that even my skin color was being complete, like the skin person, and I'm dark, not so dark though, but I sat down and I said to myself that there are a lot of people that so much love my physique, they love my color, they love me the way I am, the way I speak and relate with people. So why do I have this is people I want to spend the rest of my life with, and they're having a problem with it? Okay, fine. From now on, this is how it will be. If they don't like it, then God will fix me and bring who will accept me the way I am. So the way I am. So I wasn't pushing it. Even for that period of 6 months, he can attest, I was not calling him. It was not pride. But I just decided to drop it. I said, God, if this is who you really want me to be with, then fine. But if this is not who you want me to be with, fix me and make me to meet the person you want me to be with. Someone who will truly and genuinely love me the way I am. So I was not pushing it. I was not calling. I was not texting. It was not pride. No, it was not pride. Though I cried, I was engaged that day. I was engaged that day, that very day, right before our families, both families. So we already had it posted on social media. So it was really a thing of shame. Like I already had committee of friends and the rest were already planning all of a sudden, just out of the blues. He said he's no longer interested.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's the little manifestation of the man.
And my reverend then, Reverend Adejo, was so upset. He was like, who does he think he is? How dare he?
Yeah. The truth be told was that the mother was quite something else. Like, she is the best mother-in-law to think of. Now, this is the mother in this African part of the place where a lot of girls and mothers go after wealth, especially when they are not very well to do. But she will call me and tell me, where are you with my daughter? I said, she just got the market. You say, please, can you walk away from her? I said, why? You say, just go away a little bit from her. So I do, and she will tell me, don't give my daughter money. Don't spoil her with anything.
I forgot that.
Like money or gifts. Don't give her anything. I do not train my daughter to love money. Don't make her go and begin to love money. No matter what you have, keep it to yourself. Don't give her money. I say, what if I just take her to eatery to eat? She will tell me take her to an eatery to eat. She's not used to eating in eatery. She eats at home. So don't make her give her the life of an eatery. Don't do that. No matter what you do, even if you have money, keep it away from my daughter. Don't give her any gift. And I was shocked.
And that made me remember something. Actually, for that period, it was almost like a struggle. Like even my hairdo, he would just act as if he wasn't seeing it. And I'm not this kind of person that is used to like depending on people or wanting to ask, because yes, I'm working, but maybe at that period I've not been paid. So I'll be expecting that, okay, this is my fiancé. I'm expecting that he should be able to do certain things. Like it's not everything that mom and dad should do for us. There are some certain things that on his own he should just decide and say, okay.
We'll take a short break and we'll come back and continue from here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Introducing Panaceaville, where love thrives and relationships flourish. Are you ready to embark on a journey of love and fulfillment? Our comprehensive programs are designed to help engaged and married couples build and maintain healthy relationships in their first decade. With our expert guidance, you'll learn the art of understanding and proper conflict management, creating emotional safety and deepening intimacy in your relationship. Join our group couple coaching, limited to 5 couples per group, where you'll learn practical conflict management tools and work through disagreements with ease. Discover the joy of a thriving relationship as you heal attachment injuries and enhance trust together. For couples at a crossroads, our intervention coaching program is the answer. We'll help you identify and tackle challenges at their roots, rekindling lost love, repairing past hurts, and creating a peaceful and stable future. Before you walk down the aisle, equip yourself with the knowledge for a successful marriage through our Before the Aisle course. Unlearn old patterns, develop practical money management skills, and foster an intimate, fulfilling bond. As a bonus, you'll be part of a supportive community with access to materials and continuous growth support. Choose Panaceaville today and unlock the secrets to a happy and lasting relationship. Remember, a fulfilling marriage is within reach for those willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn.
One family at a time.
Welcome back. This is Rings That Bind. On this show, we interview couples to tell us their story, their struggles, what they overcame, how they kept their love blossoming and flourishing through the years. And in today's episode, we have with us Reverend and Mrs. John Akoh. We are having an interesting conversation. They are telling us so much about their life. In fact, we are still talking about how they decided to settle together.
Please, boy, can you stop calling for crying out loud?
He's still calling.
You can make comments, ask questions that you may have, as we go ahead. Okay, so back to you, Ma. You were talking about him not giving you money for your hair and all that, and you were like, what's going on? So you can pick it up from there.
Yes. The reason I was okay.
Yeah, talk.
Okay. So the reason why I was kind of curious at some point, because I had friends. Okay, I had friends, and
Hello?
this my friend. Can you hear me?
Cannot hear them. I guess
Is it network? Hello, can you hear us?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now, but I didn't quite get what she was saying before the network
Okay,
went
let
off.
me begin. Well, I said the reason why I was curious at some point why it seems like he wasn't caring, though he was telling me he loved me verbally, but okay, showing it, like when I discuss among my friends, this is the person about to get married to, and then they make me feel like he's supposed to be doing this, he's supposed to be doing that, he's supposed to be doing this and that. So it got to a point I started feeling, having this curious feeling like, oh, could it be that I'm making a mistake? Like if I go into this marriage, does it mean that it will be a marriage that will be all by myself? I'll have to foot my bills. I'll have to go through a lot. So it got to a point I started feeling unstable. But I just trusted God. I just had this strong feeling that it won't be like that. Because even when we got married, do you know I got married to him? He was still receiving, he was not receiving stipend of 15,000 naira as of 2019. Stipend of 15,000 naira with his organization. So after the marriage, immediately after the marriage, he was now employed, right? And then
Things changed.
The
Wow.
money upgraded from 15,000 naira to 50,000 naira.
Wow.
So 4 days later, when I gave birth to my first child, so his salary was now upgraded from that 50 up to the highest point I can think of. It was really a miracle because I sat down one night and then I began to think back. I started crying. I was like, Eunice, you know you are crazy. I started telling myself that how can you marry a man in this era and he was receiving just 15,000 naira? Did you think about your future? So that was when I started regurgitating and it's where
Wow, it's amazing. So you had no clue that your mom at some point had told him not to give you money.
In fact, this is the first time I'm even hearing it. I had no clue.
Whoa.
That's to show you that when I mean I was myself, I meant it. I was myself. I wasn't expecting it. Even the day we called he called me. He didn't even tell me we were reconciling. He just called me that he's hungry. So when I picked, I wasn't for a while. I was no longer picking his calls. So that very day he just called. I just decided to pick. When I picked, he said, "How am I doing?" I said, "I'm okay." He said he's hungry. I said, "Hungry? Okay." Then he started making list of what he needed. So I said, "Okay, let's meet." So we met. And the motive for meeting was not because I had the motive that he's calling for settlement. Imagine he just called that after a very long time that he's hungry. So I just answered due to the fact that I felt that he's a human, just anybody. So that was it.
Wow, this is amazing. So if you are listening to us, a listener, you need to pick some things from here. First of all, be yourself. Like don't overburden yourself, put too much expectation on you, especially when you are handling in-laws, ensure that they see you for who you are. They have a choice to accept you the way you are or not, because you cannot change who you are for another. Eventually you end up being bitter, you can end up being so irritated, so resentful against them and all. And then even if you eventually get married in that home, you will not be happy. The ability to be confident in yourself, to hold that space for yourself is huge. And for her, I think that her confidence was top notch, because she didn't care. They were talking about her skin color, they were talking about so many things, but she held on to who she believed she was and waited. Now, that's another thing that I think a lot of people do not understand in our generation. We want to be fast. We want to do things fast, especially the Gen Zs, Alpha generation. Things are fast. We have fast food. So why should life be slow? Sometimes life is like it teaches us lessons. So the ability to wait, she waited, she was herself, she was presenting herself the way she was, without making too many promises in her behavior that will now make the mother-in-law to think when they get married eventually, oh, so she was pretending all the while. She was herself. So the woman knew her, and she had an opportunity to love the real person and accept the real person after seeing her for a time. So, as young people, it's important for us to allow that waiting time where our families also can begin to love the people that we are with. And Pastor, I must say, this was crazy. Like, after 6 months, you call me and say I should cook for you. Probably if it were me, I wouldn't have been married today, because I'm like, who are you? Like, from where? To have somebody who's really gentle, to have obliged and calm and even make the food, sit down and watch you eat. My God, thumbs up, man.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The thing is that when God is involved in anything is possible. Like the Bible says, the heart of a man is in the hands of God. He turned it whithersoever he wants. Yes. So, and in as much, first thing for me was that I settled the issue with God. Like, I went to pray, and that is very true. If I had not prayed, maybe I wouldn't have been married to her today, because like she said, I had my first taste of a wife that the lady must be very fair. That's my first taste. She knows it. So she's not fair, but then I had the ones that are very fair. And then equally that time, she was not this fashionistic person. No. She wasn't a fashion person at all. She would just dress the way she is, wear the little she have. But then I have these people who, if they dress today, you would think as if though we are going to somewhere like London, as the case may be, So yes. Well, so the ones that I was thinking that they fit into my status quo.
The first day we even met was on my natural hair spread.
So yes. She was not this kind of make hair do whatever. Yes. She just came like that. Yes. So, but then for me again, I was now looking at these people who are very like dressed to kill like this. What if I don't have what it takes like to be able to like maintain their standard? That was my first point of call. I began to think. I sat alone midnight, like off the light, only me in my room, and I was just thinking. That's the truth about it. And I began to reason deep. Then I began to ask myself, but wait, this person who loves you when you have nothing, what does she see in you? If other girls get to find out what I have or who I am, besides seeing me, like normally, once I eat, you can say he look touche, or I dress. I'm a dress kind of person. I like dressing. So even if they see me outside, they just judge me based on my outward appearance. They feel this guy has it all, but they don't know me back home because I've never taken them to my house. If she's the first, I was taking them. In fact, no, there was this person that I took to my house. The day she came to my house, she became very, very disappointed. Wow. Highly disappointed. Yes. Highly disappointed. In fact, there was one other girl that when she got to find out, her own problem was that she just told me that if we are going to get wedded, that number one, I must try to buy a car before the wedding. I said, from where? A car.
Wow.
Yeah. She said I must have a car, and equally I must be able to buy to buy present gold ring for the wedding. I say, who? Me. Gold. How much is the gold ring? She said it will cost us 50,000. 50,000. After that, she was talking. The highest money I had in my whole account was 5,000. Oh, wow. Where will I get 50,000 naira from? So this whole thing became a quarrel. She started like comparing herself with her other friends. They have gold. You know, they are friends. They are suitors. Bought them gold even before the wedding. They had golden ring, golden earring. At least if I cannot buy that thing, it's a problem. I said, oh, it's like this one will really be a problem because I cannot keep myself to please anybody. So we have crossed this line with a lot of girls before now. And then even the one that we said, why is he living in just 2 rooms? Then I was even living in 2 rooms before things now went bad. Like, and I have to pack and go and live in my family house before I even met her. So, and then in my family house, I don't have anything. Like, I don't even have a room of my own. Everything was just within the family setting. And she was okay with me. So I said, this is true love. This is the real love. The other ones were doing love by sight, love by material things. They were just rating me based on what they think I am. And so when they find out I'm not that person, they begin to draw back. So now this is the real love. So I sat down. But the bottom line of it all is that I had to pray. I prayed, received the vision and the revelation that this is my wife. So that was how God took over the whole thing. And he gave me the wisdom. I just came up with that wisdom that morning, that this is how I'm going to get to her. I cannot just call her and tell her that, hey, let us be back. I cannot just go and visit her. What if she's not there? What I didn't even see her at home? What if I just go there and she raised up hell on me and said he has come again to do something else to me, you know, and then people just attack me? What if I just go there and she disgrace me? I begin to follow this. So I just say, God, what do I do now? And I just have that insight and said, she is who she is. Just tell her that you are hungry and that she's the only one that must give you the food you want to eat today. If she accepts. So I decided to go the way of Abraham, sending his servant to go and get a wife for his son Isaac. So I just came up with that. Yeah, that was what I did. And so I just came up with that. And eventually it cut the hook. And then here we are.
Wow, you know, there's this there's something that I teach about love having support and challenge. Every trait we see and we like about a person has both sides, the good side and the bad side. So just like you saw those were fashionable, it takes money to be fashionable. I mean, 15,000 at salary, which one will they use for hair? Which will they use for the pedicure, for the dress? Before you even talk about feeding. So you know that definitely what they'll be looking, their taste, they may not be bad people, but their taste is up here. And as at that time, you couldn't have met up with the demands, even though you love. By the way, your wife is looking really beautiful, natural, and yeah, this is a beautiful story. So you got married, and then, sir, you told me something when we were doing our pre-interview after your wedding. And you are married, you are in the house, you began to experience other forms of challenges, right? You told me about challenges with differing sexual desires in your home. Can you buttress that as well?
Okay, that's you.
Is it me or her?
You. Let's start with you because it was you that mentioned it.
Okay.
Well, the thing is that as at that time, sometimes, you know, I want to just be with my wife alone. I'm that kind of person. That's what I just enjoy. And then her attention will be given to so many other things. Like she wants to be with the children. The children are just, you know, trying to put them to sleep. Or at another time, she's giving attention to her work because she's a teacher. And then she's trying to mark scripts, set questions, write lesson note, lesson plan, lesson refuse to plan, and all that. So I was like mad. Like, baby, come here. I'm coming. Can't you see I'm busy? What? I married you for myself. I didn't marry you for that thing you are doing right now. I didn't marry you for that. I didn't marry you for the lesson plan. You are right. The office work should be in the office. Home affairs should be in the home. In this home now, I need you here with me, and not, because not really because of just sex, but because I want to talk to her. I just want attention. I want her to sit by my side. I want to just put my head on her laps as we're talking. I just want her to just be rubbing my head. She does that a lot, and I like it. Just rubbing my hair like that. The more she's doing it, the more I think better. The more she's doing that, the more she's touching my ears. Is the more I will feel, wow, this is spicy. So, but then if she's now being caught up by other things that is not happening, I got offended. I really, really got offended. So I begin to tell her that, come, we have to draw a very serious line here. We have to draw a line. Let office work stay in the office. Let home be home. So that became an issue. And of course, she was always nagging, like, I have to take care of the children before we go to work, before she go to school. Now, when she come back, she will prepare lunch. After lunch, she will make the children, she will think of dinner. After dinner, put the children, bath the children, make them to sleep. And all that. She's very, very tired. Please let me be. But I told her my own body is not tired. In fact, my body is waiting. My body is refreshed just to have you play with. And that was what used to go. So she always complained of being tired. Please let me tell her no tiredness. Thank you.
So because you have made me the judge, I can also, women solidarity now, like explain certain things that were happening. But let's hear your perspective with the whole. Did you actually think that as in he's explaining, he's saying no time, work and all. You didn't have help, right? So the burden of doing all that was on you. What was your experience with all that?
Well, I wasn't seeing it the way he was seeing it actually, because I need to be at work before 7:30, and I will literally sleep for only 2 to 3 hours. And during the weekends, I'm always very busy, either with mostly house chores, and Sunday here is activities in church, coming back to Monday. Like, my life is really busy, and sometimes when I tend to sleep for those few hours, I'll be very tired. So it will look like he doesn't want to understand. This is me waking up by sometimes 4 a.m. Okay, can I talk? Okay, so this is me waking up by 4 a.m. And when I wake up by 4 a.m. in the morning, I will start preparing meals, put water on fire, bathe the children, clean the house, do all the chores before leaving. I need to be at work before 7:30. When I get to work, there are times I teach throughout the day. That's we close by 3 p.m. So I'll be standing, and teaching has a lot to do with mental stress, your straining your voice, standing, and it's in the secondary section. You don't expect you're teaching English language and then you're sitting down in front of the class. So after all that long hours of standing on heels, you come back home, you try to see that the house is in order, you fix meals, I always prefer to do their assignment, that's the kids' assignment. So as beside doing the assignment, I tutor them as well. So as beside what their teacher does for them, I also tutor them to checkmate what the teacher is doing. So all that takes time. And when I'm done with it got to a point I told him that, okay, let's make it once a week. Let's make it a weekend, let's say every Friday. Like, since I know that Saturday morning, I won't have to go anywhere. I'll just probably do some washing and all of that. So even if I'm so tired, I can sleep at least till 8 o'clock. He won't want to understand. It was like, I'm replacing him with my job and my kids and all of that.
That's it.
So I don't know yet when I saw that, because
Exactly.
Okay, so when I saw that, was it?
No, don't forget about that. Just
Okay, so I was really shocked. I was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah,
I want to see that the problem.
I'm shocked that you were like, oh wow, he's actually thinking about this. I think that is a general problem with young parents, because children come with a lot of work. Now, many of us did not even know. We probably have a sense, and theory about how much children impact on a marriage, but we don't really know it until we live it. And then you are home, the workload is much, you have expectations to meet at your place of work. The children cannot be put behind because they are small, they cannot do anything for themselves. We called them into the world. They were not pushing to come. It was we that said we want to have children. And if we didn't have children, the same us will be going for prayers every day in church and saying, God, bless our union, show us that you are in this union with us and everything. So they come and whole lot of responsibility. So how do you now manage that? Because I think there was a time when scheduling also worked for us in terms of sex, like scheduling, because it also helps me mentally to pre-program my mind and say, okay, we're going to be having sex, so let me get into the mood. Because if you are busy, your children are touching you, you are walking, your mind is in different places to get your
my second child.
get yourself into that space where you also will enjoy the process and all. So scheduling actually worked for me at some point in our relationship. But I want to hear from you. How have you been able to manage this whole challenge with sex?
Okay, so when I noticed it started becoming a problem, like my husband is always very happy, always very funny. But whenever he becomes reserved, he becomes this picky, I know that something is wrong. And the only thing that is wrong is not even his belly, it's sex. So I'll say, okay, you have to readdress yourself. And sometimes in that aspect, he's not so romantic in that aspect, in the sense that, yes, I have to say it, in the sense that, okay, this is your wife that is this tired, she's very stressed out, like she have been reading, look at her eyes fixed to the screen, to dictionary and the rest, and then you just appear, baby, come. Like my mind wasn't even there. Baby, come. And if I refuse, you get upset. So me, I was expecting that, okay, sometimes it should be pre-planned. We should prepare our mind. Sometimes it should come up with surprise gifts. Like, just make me happy. So as I wouldn't mind to let go of that job and just... So that's what I usually tell him. Yes.
Yes. Truth is that that's like what you said, that's scheduling.
Scheduling, yes.
Yeah, a time came that we have to agree that intimacy should just be weekends. She came up with that thought and I bought the idea.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm human too. I feel her pains. I see what she goes through, especially with the children and all that. So I agree to that. But be that as it may, body is sometimes body calls, and you just have to answer it. So yes, sometimes the scheduling thing doesn't really work. So the only way it works now is that she just became understanding, and he told me some other times like we should do something to spice up, the day. And like I was thinking, what is spicing up the day? Do I have to go and kill a cow because I want to talk to my wife in the night? So I wanted to make it a very big hype on even the social media to ask if somebody needs to do this before he can talk to his wife in the night. So a lot of people were just laughing, and there are many other elder men, ministers like that will just be gisting, because most times some ministers, they just like talking to me. So they will just invite me, or maybe they will come to my place and then we'll just sit down and we're talking. And some of them will try giving me their life experiences, because these ones were way married before me. They're having grandchildren now, as the case may be. And so sometimes they will just chip in this part and say this was what they went through with their wife at early point. They hope I'm not going through the same thing. I'll say, this man, how do you know what is happening here? And then they tell me how they were able to down and all that. And so, but then I think in the general thing, we have come to a consensus. We have understood ourselves, and we're no longer having that stuff now. You can see the way I'm shining, You can see how she's also looking. It shows you that. Yeah, so that's it. So we overcome that part.
It shows that you are eating both the regular food and the other food, the other room food.
Oh my God! In fact, she knows, and she knows I think that very well. That's the truth.
That's amazing, because for some people this is just it, and it begins to affect every other thing in their life because they're not able to come out, understand it. But I think that is a struggle that is very important for us to keep talking about, because many young couples go through this challenge. They have this space where one of the partners, especially the woman, seems to be more preoccupied with the children and all. So let me give a few tips for our listeners to some things that you can try with this. You can also try getting help for your wife in terms of chores. That you as the husband beginning to become more available to help with the children, maybe do their assignments with them, or help with the cleaning at home, or you get external help, somebody you pay, even if it's not for the person to live in, but come from time to time to help. That also relieves burden from her, makes her have time to rest. And when she can rest, she can be more available to you. So that's another thing you can try. Yes, we've talked about scheduling. Now I know plenty of people say, scheduling is boring, is not romantic. Until you have children, you will know how romantic scheduling is. I love that period when our children were small, because if you just come out of the blues and say, my mind is not even there, so I don't enjoy it. It's like I'm just giving you what you want, so I'm not fully present. But with scheduling, I prepare. I know that this is what is going to happen. So I put myself in that space and all. So scheduling is also really fantastic. Now, they also spoke about something interesting. They got insights from older couples who have gone through this process, couples who have seen this experience and had overcome it. They got to learn from those people's experience. Do you have older couples in your sphere that you can always reach out to and say, oh, we're having this challenge. How did you handle it? Did you have that challenge? What did you do? Learning from the older people, I think it's a given for everything you want to do, that people that have gone ahead of you would have more experience from you. And if you don't want to struggle so much, learning from them is huge. Thank you so much for being this open and free to sharing this. A lot of people will have challenges with sharing this part of their experience, but you have been open to share this. We'll be right back. We'll take a short break and do some ads, and then we'll come back to the show. right, welcome back. This is Rings That Bind. We interview couples on Rings That Bind who are going through their marriage and having harmony, so that they share with us their secrets, what they had to learn, the challenges they encountered, what they did to overcome it, and how they are keeping their love flourishing. Today we have Reverend and Mrs. John Akoh with us, and they've been sharing with us. The couple is so interested. I said to the wife before we started the show, I said, oh, I'm sure that when guests come to your house, they don't want to leave immediately because your husband is so funny. So they keep laughing and they could stay for hours without realizing that they have been there for so long. And we've had some few laughs too in the show today. So let's go back to them. And then I want to ask you another question about child rearing. Now, you said that you had some challenges with your perception, each of you, your views with child rearing, going through the experience of child raising. So can you just give us a bit of context, what the challenge with your raising your children have been, and all? Then we'll look at how you've been able to manage it as well.
Okay, challenging for me, one, I'm such a person that I love kids. I love my children a lot. So much, a lot. In fact, she knows. The connection was right from when he was in the womb.
From the womb. Yes.
It was so much a big connection, very huge connection, that in fact, she can explain that part better. And so when the child was born, in fact, I was the one who
network probably. Let's give them a few minutes. I want to hear this. I believe that we'll learn something from their child rearing experience, how their children came, what they have done so far to keep the children together and to agree on how to raise them. So let's see as they come back and we have this conversation. Yes, sir, so go ahead.
Okay, so first and foremost, I must apologize. It's been so many calls coming in, interrupting the network. So like I said, I had this huge connection with my children. The connection is so huge that most times, once I'm at home, if they must sleep, then I must sleep together with them. If I wake up, they must wake up. Now, my wife can testify, no matter that food they give them, except if I'm not at home, then they will eat alone. But if I'm at home, they will never eat alone. They will always come surround me. Yes. Even if they have eaten, once I come back home, they must still eat my food. It's so a thing that their mom can be going out, they won't cry, but I dare not want to step out. In fact, the moment they see me wearing a shirt, they go where they are open. They must follow me. So that's the connection. So because of that, me, I don't like, and then I hate to hear children crying. I don't like to hear the cry of children. Yeah, it touches me. It goes down to my bone. I prefer you just talk to them than to spank them or to beat them. But you see, this my wife,
yes,
she's a disciplinarian. She always beat these children, like
beat them, I spank them.
So she spanked them. She always do that. And I am not always comfortable in that zone of you beating the children. So if she just beat them, they run to me. They just come and climb my body. And so I just pick them from there, and then that's just how it goes. So that child or part of child upbringing, I'm telling my wife, do not always beat children. Don't you talk to them with mouth. Talk to them. Yes, so that's where we are. There are times I also beat them, but then that thing must be very serious. If not, I don't touch them. You know, that's me for you. I prefer to talk to them, sit them down, tell them this thing is wrong. Don't do it next time. That's me for you. So that's about me and children upbringing. But I must always put them right and tell them what must be living.
So Margaret Thatcher. All right. So I usually beat them, not, it's for a good cause. Um, I'm more of the disciplinarian in the home,
Mm,
like because my dad was, and maybe I learned from that part of, and I have minimized the way I beat them, in the sense
mm,
that I believe I've passed my message, especially my first child.
mm.
If I want to communicate with him, all I need to do is just eye contact, and he will just respond. That at the earlier stage, I used the rod, and now I've decided to drop the rod because he understands what mommy can do. So if all I need to do is just eye contact or just talk to him, and then
Wow. So having differences in how we want to raise our children is one of the common, very common reasons why couples fight. In fact, it's part of the five top reasons that have been identified for regular conflicts within the home and all. So
Hello?
it's important that couples learn how to manage their differences around how they want to handle parenting. And also, usually when people get married, they with children, there's one person who is usually more firm than the other. I think it's a good mix because children need the rod and the staff, you know. That's somebody who is more at them, more on them doing what they need to do, and the other person who gives them the so-called the comfort, so that we balance how our children face life. They know that they have to do this. There are rules they need to keep to. There's discipline, there's boundary, but they also know that their parents love them, that they can come, they can get that contact that they need. If they are crying or overwhelmed, their parents will be there to give them the comfort. So I think it's always a good mix as long as we're able to balance it and work together as a couple. So back to you, ma'am. You were saying something.
yes, it's not like I was being wicked to them, but I was just trying to pass a message, especially from that early stage. So the moment my child knows what I can do as their mom, you are doing something wrong, and when I tell you to stop, he knows that I mean you should stop. So he knows that.
Mm.
So he won't repeat it again. And I know that as the first, the other ones tend to learn from him. So already I've already instilled that discipline in him first. So even the second one is not that difficult for me, even though that one.
Yeah. Oh my God. My network today has been really funny. So yes, I guess that we get the message that she's passing across is about discipline, even though I still recommend that we look at discipline broader, not just discipline with the rod and all, but discipline as a broader concept so that we have varying tools we can use within our discipline. But once we are able to help our children to know what is accepted, our family rules and everything, it becomes easier truly as they grow. And then there's this thing about you raise your children, the others learn from the others, so they know, oh, this is not acceptable. Like I've also had that very well. I've enjoyed that too with my first daughter. My first daughter is very studious. She wants to read. So the moment she's reading, she's calling her younger sister, come, take your book and read. They don't need to come back and say, have you read? Her sister is already helping me take care of that. As she's reading, she's modeling what it is like for the younger one. So yes, really, really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm glad that the both of you are able to blend the two and bring it to a middle point. I think that's why we marry people that are different from us, so that we learn from each other, improve the quality of who we are eventually, and find ourselves in the middle. So before we wrap up, we have this interesting segment. Now, this segment is for fun. So it's just kind of like so you think you know your wife, or so you think you know your husband. It's just phone questions we'll ask, and then you would answer, then your partner will confirm whether you are right or wrong. So we start with you, mom. What's your husband's favorite color?
Oh wow. um Gray. Gray. Yes,
Gray.
gray.
Is that true, sir? So, sir, back to you. Is your favorite color gray?
Gray.
Yeah, gray.
Okay, fantastic. So, what's her favorite meal? Like when you know that she's probably tired, upset, something that you give her to eat that she'll be excited about, she'll be happy to have.
Yeah, that is what do you call it? What that thing? That's chocolate. Chocolate.
Oh, wow. Is that true, ma'am? Chocolate. Once you get
Yes.
chocolate.
I have a name, Chocomilo.
She loves chocolate a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow. Interesting. So, ma'am, what's his favorite Bible verse? He's a pastor, so let's find out.
Oh wow. Favorites. Ah. Mm. That question I'll pass because yes, you see, he has so many. He usually say a lot, so I will pass that.
Okay, so what's your favorite Bible verse? Let's get to hear from you.
Your own. Me?
No, your own, sir.
My own?
Yes.
Okay, well, my own she was asking.
My favorite Bible verse is John chapter 13, verse 34 and 35. And
Okay.
then, yes, and then First John chapter 4, verse 7 to 8.
So what does he say? Oh, our network. Oh, I don't like it when the network messes our program. All right, so I really
Hello?
apologize. Now, yes, okay, sir. Yes. So what does it say? What's the quote there?
Okay, John chapter 13, verse 34, 35. Jesus Christ says, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another." And verse 35 said, "And for by this love shall all men know that you are mine." All right. Then First John chapter 4, verse 7 to 8 says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. And anyone that loves one another loves God and knows God, for God is love."
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much for
that is because the ministry that God gives to me that I preach is the ministry of love. So everything revolving around love, teaching of love, how to love both God and men, all that is what I specialize in preaching.
Wow, and I think that is a much needed gospel. Love is the center that holds everything together. So we really need more of that. We need people to do things out of love. We need people to understand what love is and to live in love. Thank you so much, Reverend and Mrs. John Akoh. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sparing this time to have this conversation. Thank you for going so deep, for being so open and honest to sharing your experience with us. We appreciate your coming on the show today.
Thank you very much. We love you.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
God bless you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah, so listener, this is how it has been on That Bind today. I hope you have learned something definite, something that will help to improve your relationship, improve the quality of the life that you already live as a married person. And if you are single, I hope you learned something that will be beneficial for you even as you come into the marriage arena. So from all of us, thank you so much, sir. Amma. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.
And also